Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the presentation of our nation's flag by the Veterans of Foreign Wars, World War I Centennial Honor Guard. Remain standing for the invocation and the singing of our national anthem by the Ludlow High School Choir under the direction of Mr. Dan Henry.
Right shoulder, pump! Mark time, mark! Forward, mark! Mark time, mark! Color turn, mark! Detail, halt! Present, halt!
At this time, I ask Reverend Richard Pagano of St. Paul's United Methodist Church, who will now offer the invocation.
Let us pray. Gracious and loving God, we give thanks on this, the 100th anniversary of the ending of World War I, for poppies and for doughboys. It is with great thanksgiving that remember those who made great sacrifices to make us free and to keep us free. For freedom, our Father, has come at a great cost through the historic efforts of soldiers and fighter pilots like Eddie Reckenbacher and men like Alvin York, as well as countless of others whose gravestones shout out expressions of appreciation. We thank you, O Lord, for our veterans from yesterday and today, and for all those who continue to dedicate their lives to keeping us safe and free. We will always remember those whose crosses find poppies blowing between the rows. We are especially grateful that soon in Pershing Park, in our national capital, there will be a permanent memorial in honor of all those who sacrificed their lives for a free world. We pray it all in your name, O God. Amen. Amen.
Please join me in a round of applause to the Ludlow High School choir. You may be seated. Good morning and welcome to the 2018 Ludlow Veterans Day ceremony. My name is Eric Segunda and I'm the Director of Veterans Services here in Ludlow and your Master of Ceremonies for today's event. I would like to introduce our distinguished guests here with us today. State Senator for the 1st Hampden and Hampshire District, Eric Lesser. 7th Hampden District, State Representative Thomas Petrolati. Vice Chair of the Board of Selectmen here at the town of Ludlow, Derek DeBarge. Our good friend, Selectman William Rooney. Town Administrator Ellie Milano. State Commander of the Veterans of Foreign Wars, Department of Massachusetts, Keith Jackson. District 7 Auxiliary President Carly Jane Dunn. VFW District 7 Commander Gam Rosa. Our guest of honor, our 2018 Veteran of the Year, Carlos Charlie Santos. School Committee Member, Jake Oliveira. Distinguished guests, we have law enforcement here as well, and school committee members, principals, welcome. It's truly an honor to join with you today as we recognize all of America's veterans who have selflessly gone wherever they were called on to serve. This year, Veterans Day has extra meaning, as 100 years ago, on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month in 1918, the Great War, the war to end all wars, finally ended. As we commemorate the World War I centennial, we honor the service and sacrifice of all who has answered the nation's call to duty in defense of liberty and made the world safe for democracy. We offer a special salute today to the citizen soldiers of the Massachusetts National Guard, the nation's first. Immediately following the declaration of war on Germany on April 6, 1917, bringing the United States into World War I, the 26th Division was formed from the National Guard units all over New England and began to prepare for war. Being made up of all New Englanders, Division Commander General Clarence Edward agreed with a name suggested by the Boston Globe reporter Frank Sligley and nicknamed it the Yankee Division. On September 12, 1917, the 104th Infantry Regiment, comprised of all Massachusetts soldiers, including many from right here in our own community, marched up Main Street in Springfield, under the arch to the Memorial Square, and into American battle history. They arrived in France in October of 1917, and the entire Yankee division headed the front lines in February of 1918. In April, the Germans launched what became known as the Drive Against Paris. It was Germany's plan to drive the Allies back, take Paris, and win the war before the large American expeditionary force got to France. There was only one problem with this plan. The citizen soldiers of the Yankee Division were the first full division to arrive in France, and in the spirit of the Minutemen of Lexington and Concord, were ready to fight. The Yankee Division was given its own sector of battle, the battle lines in April near the French town of Apremont. This is the first time in American history that an American forces would fight in foreign soil against a foreign aggression, defending France against Germany. The Battle of Apremont began on April 10th with an attack against the American line by the Germans' best, the feared stormtroopers. The Germans were totally stunned by the aggressiveness, determination, and combat ability of the Americans.
Right shoulder. Halt.
Brutal fighting went on through the day and night of April 12th and 13th. After intense close combat, the Germans were stopped. They did not pass. On April 14, 1918, immediately following the Battle of Apremont, the French commanders were so impressed with the Yankee Division, General Philon Passegon, commander of the 32nd Army Corps, issued the following communication. On April 12th, just past the enemy, supported by powerful artillery, made an attack in force on the lines held by the 26th American Division and the 10th French Colonial Division. The struggle continued throughout the day and night on April 12th and 13th. During the fight, carried on a severe bombardment, the American troops gave proof not only of their splendid courage, which we know, but also of a brotherhood in arms in which was absolute and ever-present. With soldiers such as these, the cause of liberty is sure to triumph. The decision was made by the French commanders to award the 104th Infantry the Croix de Guerre, or Cross of War, a French military decoration for individuals or entire military units who distinguished themselves by act of extreme bravery in combat. On April 26, 1918, General Passegon issued General Order Number 737A. It read as follows. 140th Infantry Regiment USA, under the command of Colonel George H. Sheldon, is hereby awarded the Croix de Guerre for greatest fighting spirit and selfish sacrifice during actions of April 10, 12, and 13, 1918. Suffering from very heavy bombardment and attack by very strong German forces, the 104th Infantry Regiment succeeded in preventing the enemy's dangerous advances and with the greatest enemy reconquered enemy positions at the point of the bayonet and at the same time taking prisoners, as well as leaving many enemy dead.
Mark time. March. Forward. March. Well, turn. March. Detail. Halt.
On April 28th, the 104th Infantry was decorated with the Croix de Guerre for heroism at Apremont. There were also 117 individuals decorated on that day, officers and men of the regiment. The battalion, proudly led by Colonel George Sheldon, marched onto a large field where the ceremony was to take place. The 26th Yankee Division commanding General Clarence Edward was present, as well as Brigadier General Cole, commander of the 52nd Infantry Brigade. General Passegon, in his gray-blue uniform, arrived and was greeted by the American officers with the aid of General Passegon.
Reset.
Advanced the colors of the 104th, followed by General Edwards, and pinned the Croix de Guerre upon the regimental colors of the proud 104th Infantry.
Order. Halt.
The general turned and said, "I am proud to decorate the flag of our regiment, which has shown such fortitude and courage. I am proud to decorate the flag of our nation, which has come to the aid in the fight for liberty." The 104th Infantry Regiment went on to fight in 6 major campaigns and sustained the highest number of casualties of the 26th Infantry Division. Less than a quarter century later, after on the battlefields of Europe in World War II, the 104th was again awarded the Croix de Guerre for bravery. The 104th Infantry Regiment is the only American unit to ever be awarded the Croix de Guerre twice. Their service and sacrifices will never be forgotten.
Mark time.
Round of applause for our general. That was history. That happened 100 years ago this year. It is now my honor, my pleasure to introduce the Vice Chairman of the Board of Selectmen, Derek DeBarge, for his opening remarks for the town.
Good morning, everyone. First, I'd like to go through the list of everybody here, and to our Veteran of the Year, Mr. Carlos Santos, to our honored guests, Senator Eric Lesser, our State Rep Tom Petrolati, my fellow Selectman Bill Rooney, to our VFW State Commander Keith Jackson, Mr. Brian Willett, also to our VFW District Commander Gam Rosa, to our police chief and members of the police department, and to our school department member Jake Oliveira, and our town manager, Miss Ellie Villana. Also, I'd like to say hello to and congratulations to our middle school Patriots Pen finalists, to our Teacher of the Year from Chapin Elementary, Miss Carrie Gray Joseph, to our Teacher of the Year from Baird Middle School, Mrs. Michelle Anacarico, to the VFW Business of the Year, Capital Driver Leasing, to the Organization of the Year, Ludlow Elks Lodge, and to the VFW Volunteer of the Year, Kara Smith. Now, while I was thinking about this Veterans Day, I was thinking about how would I go about telling people how to thank a veteran and what exactly that would mean. Also about the 100-year anniversary.
So this time, instead of going through the regular talking about what we normally do, I thought I would personalize it a little bit and go through just a little bit. This is very brief, I swear to you, that I talk about a small part of my career. When I first joined, I joined the Army National Guard. And I joined that because it was my father's unit, and I thought by joining I'd get a little bit closer to him. It was in 1990, right when the Gulf War kicked off, so I figured maybe going to war with my father, we'd get a little bit closer. Yes, that's the thinking of an 18-year-old. Well, our unit didn't get called up, so that never happened, but something happened to me at basic training. I no longer thought that the reserves would be the place for me because something clicked. I liked the idea of the military, so I went active duty, but I decided to go into the Marine Corps. It was in the Marine Corps that I learned what it was like to put country before self. I learned to put my Marines before myself, and that was something that I was not accustomed to. I learned about unwavering pride and unforgiving sacrifice. I, like all veterans, miss birthdays, holidays, and other important family events. I was forced to miss 2 funerals of 2 grandparents that passed 2 weeks apart. My wife and I actually never lived together until I got out of the Marines completely. Being a veteran to me has always been about country, pride, camaraderie, the will to lead. But there has always been heartache, loss, loneliness, among others. And in closing, I have no great words of wisdom for anyone on this day. I would simply say, if you see a veteran, say thank you. They'll know what you mean, and they'll appreciate it more than you know. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Mr. DeMarch. At this time, our next speaker, our good friend in the Senate, 1st Hamden and Hampshire District Senator Eric Lesser.
Well, first, I just want to say thank you to my colleague in government, the Vice Chair of the Ludlow Board of Selectmen, and a great friend and great champion for this town, Derek DeBarge. Derek, thank you for that, for sharing. I'd like to thank my fellow colleagues in government, Mr. Rooney, Ms. Blamo, of course, my friend, State Representative Petrolati, school committee member Jake Oliveira, and a very special thank you and acknowledgement to you, Mr. Santos, for your service. We honor you today, and we thank you for your service to the world as a veteran of a war that helped secure peace and democracy the world over, your service to your country, and your tireless service over so many decades to this community here in Ludlow. We appreciate you. Thank you. I'd be remiss if I didn't briefly, he's a modest guy, but I have undying and unending admiration for Eric Segundo and the work he does, certainly in Ludlow, but really statewide. He's known across the Commonwealth as one of the most active, the most energetic, and the most creative and hardworking veteran service officers in the entire state. And we truly have a gem here in Ludlow and here in Western Mass in Eric Segundo, so we appreciate you. I just want to make 2 quick observations. We're here on the 100th anniversary of the armistice that ended World War I. And really, as it was mentioned in the ceremony, the brief ceremony recognizing that centenary anniversary, World War I was really America's entry onto the global stage and built and was the beginning of an American century that protected and defended human rights and a global order that has created opportunity and has created freedom and safety, certainly for the United States and for our own citizens, but also for citizens the world over. And there was an important point that Eric mentioned in the remarks, which was in World War I, it was the first time the United States came to the aid on foreign soil of another country. And when that war was over, and when World War II was over, our ambition was not to occupy territory or to plunder those countries that we helped. It was to build democracies and build institutions and to spread freedom and to spread our ideals. And that is unprecedented in the history of the world. There's no other example of a country or a civilization or a people that puts its own young men and women, its own treasure on the line to promote a set of principles and a set of ideals. And I think it's never been more important to remember that now and in the future. And I just really want to be here to say thank you. To say thank you to our veterans. I'm honored to serve in Massachusetts, where we truly put our money where our mouth is when it comes to veterans. We, of course, need to remember and recognize their service every single day, today in particular. We have to thank and honor the family members of our service members as well, the spouses, the children, the parents, who also make a great sacrifice when their loved ones serve. But it has to be more than words, and it has to be more than remembrances. It has to be reflected in our laws and in our policies. And that's why I'm proud that we continue to support veteran service officers in every community in the Commonwealth. We continue to support reentry programs and job training programs for our young Afghanistan and Iraq war veterans who are reentering civilian life. And we continue to protect and to work to invest in institutions like the Soldiers' Home to care for our veterans in their golden years and make sure that that institution is protected and invested in and continually improved and expanded. So today and every day we thank you. We recognize your service and your sacrifice, and you have a solemn obligation for me that that's going to be reflected in more than just words. It's going to be reflected in our laws and our deeds every day and every year moving forward. Thank you.
No stranger to us here in Ludlow, our great friend who represents us every day in the House, Representative Thomas Petrolotti.
Good morning. Thank you, Eric. To my colleagues in government, Senator Lesser, members of the Board of Selectmen, Bars and Rooney, Jake Oliveira and Chip Harrington from the school committee, and of course to our honored guest, Mr. Santos, and all our veterans, and of course the great residents of this community we know as Ludlow. I want to start off this morning sharing with you a quote that I came across from an unknown author that I hope depicts the true meaning of Veterans Day and why we're all here gathered to acknowledge the brave men and women who have served in the service. It's just a simple, basic quote that said, "We don't know them all, but we owe them all." You know, across this great country today and throughout the world, Americans will pause on this Monday to honor our brave fighting men and women who for more than 241 years have underwritten the freedom by their duty, their honor, and their selflessness. We also are cognizant of the fact and recognize that all veterans have given something of themselves to this country. And yes, some have given all by laying down their lives to defend freedom that we hold so dear as Americans. This morning, as we reflect on the blessing of our liberty, let us come together and ask our Heavenly Father that we be faithful stewards of the freedom that we all have been granted. Let us never forget that we can rightly and truly celebrate the joys of freedom without recognizing and remembering the great price that that freedom cost. We sometimes stagger to the eternal debt we owe to the untold Americans those veterans who chose to set aside their personal ambitions and dreams to assure the well-being of this nation. We, the living, are the beneficiaries of the tremendous sacrifices for the advancement and the surety of liberty. May we always be humbly grateful to those brave American patriots who suffered and who sacrificed for the glory of God, for the freedom of this country. Let it be said that all soldiers have been there for America, defending the Constitution of the United States of America. And to all veterans here today, across this Commonwealth and this nation, we have a simple, heartfelt message. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your unwavering service in peacetime and in war, in this nation and throughout the world. You know, if you reflect on America's history, it's unique because we have rarely experienced the enemy on our soil or at our gates. Our citizens do not live in the fear of atrocities or violent conflict that is experienced each and every day across this world. And we have our military men and women to thank for that. I've always said there's something to be said about their tenacity, their courage, their perseverance, their devotion, and most importantly, their compassion for the American citizen. I leave you this morning with a quote from the late, great General Patton, who once said, "It is foolish and wrong to mourn the men and women who have died. Rather, we should thank God that such men and women have lived." I thank you once again, the great community of the town of Ludlow, who come out each and every year to show their appreciation. It is testament to your character and your recognition of the sacrifices that these men and women have given to us, not only here in this community, but this great Commonwealth and this great nation. May God bless you. May God bless our veterans and our soldiers. And may God bless America. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Petrolotti. It is my honor now to introduce to you our Veteran of the Year. The town of Ludlow has selected World War II combat veteran Carlos Charlie Santos as this year's Veteran of the Year. Charlie Santos was born in 1918 and grew up playing soccer on the streets and fields of Ludlow. He lived on Franklin Street, and you would often find him at the Portuguese clubhouse located there. He played soccer on the Ludlow High School varsity team from 1934 to 1936, but had to quit high school in his senior year due to his father's debilitating illness. Charlie, the third oldest of 9 children, his 2 other brothers were no longer living at home, felt a great responsibility during the time of the Great Depression to help his mother in raising 6 younger siblings. Charlie joined the United States Army in June of 1942. During his service, he deployed overseas during the heat of battle of World War II. On April 1st, 1944, Carlos was injured at Monte Carlo Casino, Italy, and was awarded the Purple Heart. He was hospitalized for almost a year and was told he wouldn't walk again. He never gave up easily, worked hard to walk again, and has worked hard all his life. In 1949, Charlie married the love of his life, the late Laura Bernardo, also of Ludlow, and a descendant of Portugal. Laura and Charlie had 3 children, Trudy, Scott, and Carlos. He's got 7 grandchildren and 4 great-grandchildren. This year, at the age of 99, Charlie received his honorary high school diploma from Ludlow High School and has just celebrated his 100th birthday. Charlie is an volunteered for over 68 years in this community. Charlie's loyalty, diligence, and devotion to duty are in keeping with the highest tradition of military service and reflects great credit upon himself, the town of Ludlow, and the United States Army. Ladies and gentlemen, Charlie Santos. You're not done yet, Charlie. The selectman is going to present you with a citation from the town of Ludlow.
Time we get this in, there'll be another one.
Just
Okay,
present-
so
yeah.
I'll take the one from the governor. I'm shorter and I don't get paid as much. But this is from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. It's Mr. Santos, from the governor of our great state. Congratulations, sir. A proclamation of your Veteran of the Year on Veterans Day.
All right, Mr. Santos, this is from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the State Senate. And it says here, Commonwealth of Massachusetts State Senate official citation. Be it known that the Massachusetts Senate hereby extends its congratulations to Carlos Charlie Santos in recognition of being named the 2018 Ludlow Veteran of the Year. And be it further known that the Massachusetts Senate extends best wishes for continued success. That this citation be duly signed by the President of the Senate and attested to and a copy thereof transmitted by the Clerk of the Senate. Offered by Kerry Spilko, the President of the Senate, attested to by William F. Welch, the Clerk of the Senate, and presented by your state senator, friend, and big admirer, Eric Lester. Congratulations.
I have a similar citation as the senator does, but instead of reading it, I'd just like to give you my personal perspective of a gentleman that I've known all my life. His daughter Trudy and I went to first grade and graduated from Ludlow High School and have remained friends all those years. The Oliveira family and the Santos family have been intertwined with the Petrolati family. And Charlie graduated with my Uncle Vic, who passed away last January at the age of 99. He used to remind me that he and my uncle were the only two remaining classmates from that graduating class, right? But what you see today from this gentleman is how he conducted his life over the last 100 years. With dignity, grace, compassion, and dedication to this community. Always up front to give, not to take. And that stands as an example and a foundation and a cornerstone for for all of us the way we should live our lives. On this day, Mr. Santos, congratulations, and I hope I'm here for your 200th birthday.
Don't sit down yet. Most recently, Carlos was also inducted into the National Purple Heart Hall of Honor, where his legacy will be kept for eternity. Family, friends, and many in the future will be able to look up Charlie's name and find the history of the war which he was injured. And it is my great honor, as well as our Military Order, the Purple Heart State Commander, to present Charlie with the citation of his membership. Having been awarded the Purple Heart for wounds received while engaged in an armed conflict against an enemy of the United States of America, and having met the requirements as given in the constitutions and bylaws of this organization, you are hereby declared a life member of the Military Order of the Purple Heart and is entitled to all the benefits thereon. Signed, Douglas Gardner, National Commander.
Welcome to the organization.
Ladies and gentlemen, last time, a round of applause for Carly. And on behalf of Charlie, Jake Oliveira will say a few words on his behalf.
Thank you, Eric, and thank you to the town of Ludlow on behalf of Charlie and our entire family. Thank you for this prestigious honor. I do have to say that Eric Segundo has to be one of the best Veterans Affairs officers in this Commonwealth. He truly is. Done a remarkable job to make my uncle's 100th year very special, so thank you to Eric again. One thing that wasn't mentioned in Charlie's biography, it was mentioned that he is one of 9 children, the third in his family, but he's the first in his family to be born in the United States. He is the son of Portuguese immigrants. My grandmother and my grandmother's sister, Mickey, who are here in the audience today, they are part of that great generation, the greatest generation. GI generation. And we are losing so many of them at such a rapid rate. It's such a wonderful opportunity to honor them, to honor their sacrifice, not just in the foreign lands, but also here back in the United States. My grandmother, her sisters all worked in factories to support the war effort. They are part of that generation that loves America. They love their sacrifice. They love the service that they've had for this country. So on behalf of my entire family, to the town of Ludlow, to Eric Segundo, to members of the Board of Selectmen, State Senator Lesser, State Representative Petrolati, thank you for making this 100th year so special for my Uncle Charlie.
I have 3 fun facts. One is Charlie still walks the entire parade route of the Memorial Day Parade. Brian Willett, the Military Order of the Purple Heart, just mentioned to me that Charlie is now the most senior member of the Military Order of the Purple Heart organization here in Massachusetts. as well as he is the most senior member of the Veterans of Foreign Wars Josh DeForge Post. So thank you for your... Our next award is the recognition of the Business of the Year. The Sergeant Joshua D. DeForge Veterans of Foreign Wars Post 3236 has annually recognized an outstanding Business of the Year who exemplifies great community service to its veterans and their families. This year's recipient is Capital Driver Leasing. Capital Driver Leasing took the lead last year to honor all our veterans who are buried here in Ludlow by bringing Reefs Across America to our town. Reefs Across America is a national program that places wreaths on our veterans' graves across the world. Observed annually on the third Saturday in December, National Reefs Across America Day is a movement to cover all veterans' grave markers with a Christmas wreath. Remember, honor, and teach is the mission of Reefs Across America. By coordinating wreath laying ceremonies at Arlington National Cemetery and other veteran cemeteries across the country, Reefs Across America strives to remember our fallen heroes, honor those who serve, and teach our children about the sacrifices made by veterans and their families to preserve our freedoms. It is with great honor and pleasure to present Capital Driver Leasing with the 2018 VFW Business of the Year Award. Presenting the award is Post Commander Paul Sharzim. We also have citations from our reps. Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause. And once again, this year, they've taken the lead once again. Last year, they set a goal to cover all the graves at Island Pond, which is almost about 800. They achieved that goal. And this year, their goal is to cover every veteran in all the outlying cemeteries here in town. So we need to raise enough wreaths to cover almost 1,100 graves. So the opportunity is there. Please see them afterwards on how you can sponsor a wreath in memory of a loved one or a veteran who's buried in town. The goal is to do that. And as they did last year, when the goal was reached, all excess money raised went to Agawam. And they would do that again once we are assured that all our graves are covered here. We'll move on. So every and any donation is accepted, and they will see you afterwards as well. Round of applause to them. Our next recognition is the Organization of the Year. The Organization of the Year's award is presented to a group who has contributed to the veterans and the families of the town of Ludlow. The Ludlow Lodge of Elks, number 2448, through their community support, have supported our veterans and their families, whether it's hosting the annual Veterans Appreciation Dinner, hosting and donating to veteran organizations, and most recently, providing needy mattresses and pillows to homeless veterans moving into their apartments and their homes for the first time. The Elks Lodge continues to serve our veterans community. Their commitment to the veterans of Ludlow is in keeping with the aims and ideals of the Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States. Ladies and gentlemen, this year's VFW Organization of the Year is awarded to Ludlow Lodge of Elks, number 2448. We also have citations from the representatives as well. Our next award is the Volunteer of the Year. The Veterans of Foreign Wars Post 3236 Volunteer of the Year recognizes an individual who has volunteered their time and commitment to our veterans and their families. The 2018 Volunteer of the Year Award is presented to Carol Smith for her relentless involvement and unwavering commitment to Ludlow veterans and their families. Over the years, she has volunteered on many veterans projects, demonstrating her deep commitment and appreciation to Ludlow veterans. Ludlow VFW 3236 is pleased and honored to present this year's Volunteer of the Year Award to Kara Smith. And yes, we have citations from the representatives.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to say thank you to all the veterans here with us today. When I found out I was getting this award, I was extremely honored, followed by extreme terror that I didn't have to write a speech. I would like to keep this short, and hopefully I don't talk too fast. Most of you know me through my mom, Christine Bassett. I'd like to thank her and my dad, Dave Bassett, for their service in the military, both who still currently work at Barnes Air Force Base in Westfield, and for being there for me. Growing up, my mom went on a ton of deployments. If she had to serve them consecutively, it would equal over a year of my life. And while I stand before you at 27 years old, I bet you think that's not a lot. What if I told you that my mom didn't technically retire until I was 17 years old, which means most of these deployments happened during my childhood. I can honestly say that I'm happy they did, because that is when I started volunteering for military vets. I can even guarantee if you ask her, she can show you pictures of me dressed as an elf for the family support Christmas party, handing out toys to kids while their parents were deployed. It was my way of showing I supported my mom, my dad, and my military base family. And since then, it has become second nature to me just to go help and volunteer. Upon finding out I would need to make a speech, my mom said, well, make sure you dress up and look nice. As you can see, I kind of took her advice. The shirt I wore today has a military dog on the back, and it says, "We got your six." And while most of you know what that means, to those who do not, it means that we have your back. I believe with everything our veterans have gone through in their lives, they need someone to have their back, to be there with them, honor them, and show them that we support them. So to all you veterans, active and retired, I got your six. Thank you.
Our next award is the Citizen Education Award, a recognition too often overlooked. Each year, exceptional teachers are recognized by the Veterans of Foreign Wars for their outstanding commitment to teach Americanism, patriotism to their students. The VFW annually recognizes the national top classroom teacher, the Smart Meyer VFW National Citizen Education Teacher Award. This year, the elementary K-5 awardee is Ms. Carrie Joseph. Joseph has been nominated for the VFW Teacher of the Year. I had the honor of working with Carrie. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm reading the nomination, not from me. But she and I have bonded over passion for patriotic causes and our love and support for the military and our veterans. Carrie is the wife of a retired combat veteran. She supported her husband through multiple deployments and continues to support other local veterans and their families. She is also an active member of her local VFW auxiliary. Carrie has been teaching 3rd grade for the past 15 years. Each year, she teaches her class about the importance of the military veterans and the various patriotic holidays. At Chapin Street School, she organized different events for the school. This year, for 9/11, Patriots Day, she got materials and books for the school to use to help teach about that day in recent history. On Veterans Day, she created a wall of honor where different names of veterans, of their families, of the students are put in a star and hung up for display. Also, for Veterans Day, Carrie has the local veterans come in and read to the 2nd graders and talk to them about the holiday. For the past 2 years, the school has raised money to donate to Wreaths Across America. Carrie truly believes in teach, honor, and remember, and tries to incorporate that in her teaching. Carrie and a colleague, Michelle Thompson, began an after-school club called the Patriot Pride. This club has learned about patriotism, supporting our military, and helping in the community. This past year, the club designed their own red shirts to wear on Fridays. For those of you who don't know red, it means Remember Everyone Deployed, R-E-D. Red shirts on Fridays, and encourage the school to wear them. They also help to lay the wreaths as part of the Wreaths Across America program. The club has helped to plan other events at the school. Carrie in June organized a Flag Day celebration for the school. She had the classes wear shirts that were either red, white, and blue, and they formed a living flag on the fields of the school. Beautiful day. The reason I feel so strongly about Carrie deserving the Teacher of the Year award is because she isn't just someone who teaches patriotism, she is someone who lives it every day in her beliefs, actions, and willingness to help and share in with others. She is able to relate to all her students, but has a special connection with those who have family members who have served or currently serving. She's arranged care packages to be sent to parents of her students who are deployed, and it was also to help bond with the spouses while their service members are away. Ladies and gentlemen, Carrie Joseph. And the certificate reads, in recognition of excellence in promoting citizen education and the patriotic principles of the veterans of foreign wars, in witness their hands, signed, Paul Sharzan, Commander.
I just want to say thank you for this award. I am truly honored. Thank you.
As part of her award, Carrie received a monetary award to be used for her personally, but also her patriotic club, Patriotic Pride Club, which she established, will receive tickets to the VFW Day night of the game, of the Thunderbirds game coming up in December. So that's something that we've given to her patriotic class for their patriotism as well. So round of applause. The Middle School Teacher of the Year awardee, I rehearsed this, Miss Michelle Anacarico. Anna Carrico, a 6th grade reading teacher at Baird Middle School. At Baird Middle School for your VFW Teacher of the Year Award. Michelle emphasizes the sentiment of Howard Gardner when he proclaimed, "I'd rather see the United States as a beacon of good work and good citizen than as number one on some international educational measure." On a daily basis, Michelle models for her students how to be a beacon of good work and good citizenship, and has shown students the power of citizens uniting in a common worthy cause. Ms. Anna Carrico has earned the respect of her colleagues, students, and family through her tireless donation of time for the betterment of those less fortunate in her community. She engages in ministry work with her church via Just 5 Days, and is a co-founder with Natalia of Second Time Chances, a nonprofit organization to provide inexpensive prom attire to Ludlow High School students. Additionally, she manages events such as hosting Pink Nights to raise scholarship money for Ludlow High School seniors, serves on the Community Relations Liaison, advises Ludlow High School Ski Club, and the Bear Student... Where do you have all this time? In short, she emphasizes the selflessness and dedication in others that is the hallmark of our democratic society. In addition to her commitment to model and teach civic responsibilities, she instills on holding her students to a higher standard, consistently resulting in impressive development of her students. Her students learn to take responsibility for their own learning and actions as she instills in them the characteristics vital to being an honorable citizen of the United States. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Michelle Anna Carrico. Michelle's citation reads the same, and she too receives a monetary award which can only be used for her.
Thank you very much. I feel very honored. I just wanted to let you know that my dad was a World War II veteran, passed away about 2 years ago, and he was my role model. Throughout his whole life, he gave to the community all the time. His motto was, what can I do? How can I help? Where do you want me to be? When do you want me to be there? And as I was listening to Derek speak earlier about the 1990s and Operation Desert Storm, it reminded me way back when, and Michelle's nodding over there, when the troops used to come back to Westover back in the day. We used to be allowed on Friday afternoons to load our cars with our students and drive up to Westover and welcome back the troops. And those are some of my fondest memories. And I remember my father loading his station wagon with some of my 4th graders at the time. And it was one really of my best memories welcoming back the troops, because I think that so often life gets us all busy and we forget the sacrifice that so many of them made. So dedicating this to my dad today, he would be very proud.
At this time, I'm going to ask for the VFW State Commander as well as the Auxiliary and the District Commander to go in the center. They're going to help us to present the student awards. Our next presentations are the student awards. This year, all the monetary prizes the students will be receiving have been donated by Imo Cody, a Korean War veteran and a lifelong member of Outpost who passed away this past year. But before he passed, he wanted to leave a gift for our children who embodies patriotism and pride for our country. And we couldn't agree more that our youth who participate in these patriotic essays symbolic what Emo would have wanted. I'm seeing double up here, I have to change my glasses. The Patriot Pen Awards. The VFW believes strongly in good citizenship and fostering patriotism. This is why we encourage youthful minds to examine our nation's history and their own experience in modern American society through our Patriot Pen Essay Writing Contest. Annually, more than 100,000 students from grades K through 5 enter stand corrected, 6 through 8 enter, and a first place winner from each state competes to win one of 46 national awards totaling $46,000. The national first place winner wins $5,000 in an all expense paid trip to Washington, D.C. in March. This year, the VFW received a total of 65 essays from students at Bear Middle School and St. John the Baptist. We want to congratulate each of them now for taking part in this program. The top 10 essays will now be recognized. I now ask the following students to come forward. There's no particular order. Echo Chartier, Owen McCarty, Abigail Showalter, Dominic Cardeno, and Haley Golf. I also want to call up the Southwick VFW Post 872 and the Northfield Post 9874. Students are to remain on stage. The Southwick VFW Post sponsored Echo Chartier. Echo, where you at? He wants to take a picture with you. And the Northfield Post sponsored Abigail Showalter. Abigail?
Hey, another opportunity.
Okay, now you. Thank you. The top 5. We've got the drum roll. 5th place, Austin Morehouse. You can stay on stage, Austin, don't go. Additionally, with the citation, there are also all the students who participated, the top 10 will receive monetary awards. And this year, we decided not to give them checks because they lose them. So they're all walking away with cash. 4th place, Ibra Karaslan. Ibra, are you here? She's not here, okay. Skip right on to 3rd place, Olivia Leclerc. Down to the final 2. 2nd place, Nathan Lucas. making our first place winner, Aaron Little. First place winner has citations from the Senate and House. Aaron, would you want to read your essay? I'll give you an extra 50. Ladies and gentlemen, these are your top 10 winners. Because of the number of essays we received, the top 5 will be submitted forward for judging. You get 1 for every 15. The top 5 will move forward to district level, where their essays will be competing against Hampshire, Hampden, and Franklin County students. And then if they win from there, they move on to state level. At each entry, they will receive monetary awards. Last year at the state level, the Patriot Pen winner received $1,000 and went to Washington. So there's some good essays here this year, and I'm feeling very confident. Thank you to all of you. All right, so the Voice of Democracy is an audio essay contest. The first place winner will read their essay. And I did bring a copy in case you forgot it. So you've got about a countdown to 10 to know when you're reading yours. No pressure. The Voice of Democracy. Each year, nearly 40,000 high school students from across the country enter to win a share of the $2.2 million in educational scholarships and incentives awards awarded through the VFW Voice of Democracy Auto Essay Competition. The VFW established the Voice of Democracy program in 1947 to provide students grades 9 through 12 the opportunity to express themselves in regards to democratic ideals and principles. The national first place winner receives a $30,000 scholarship paid directly to the recipient's American University, college, or training technical school. And other national scholarships range from $1,000 to $16,000, and the first place winner from each state wins an all-expense trip to Washington, D.C. The VFW state top winner for the state receives $3,500. As I read the winners' names, I ask the students to come up on stage and remain on stage until all the awards are presented. The following students placed in the top 10. Kayla Anderson, sponsored by the Amherst Post 754. Jonathan Rumlick, sponsored by Northfield Post 98. Amika and Gonzalo. I still can't get it. Arday Ibis. Down to the final three. Coming in third place, the third place winner is Kathleen Rooney. Kathleen is being presented a citation as well as a monetary award of $150. Can I get the last two students to come forward? No particular order, just come up, you know who you are. You're in the same class? He's a junior. Second place winner, Matthew Tibbetts. Matthew's being presented as a certificate as well as a cash amount in the amount of $200. That leaves our first place winner, Max Morrow. Max is presented a certificate as well as a cash amount of $250, as well as citations from the representatives. Ladies and gentlemen, Max will now compete against Hampden, Hampshire, and Franklin counties to move to the state level. A round of applause to all the students.
I was not prepared for this. In a nation plagued with the indisputable polarization of political ideologies, one vote matters. In a nation standing face to face with historically low voter turnouts that have been continuously decreasing exponentially, one vote matters. In a nation built upon a sturdy foundation revolving around pure democratic ideals and values, one vote matters. But there are cracks beginning to take form in the foundation of this nation that certainly have the potential to compromise everything we stand for as a country. While many may turn to their elected officials to heal our ailing nation, in truth, the true determining factor as to whether or not the country succumbs to its weakening foundation lays in one vote: my vote. Undoubtedly, ever since its inception, the United States of America has been highly touted as the founder of an authentic form of democracy. Our founders were extraordinarily progressive for their time, resulting in a robust framework that we still strictly follow to this day. This framework assured the demonstration of democratic ideals that would expeditiously catapult the young nation into prominence. This revolutionary form of government strayed away from the former concept of centralized authority that swiped power away from the people and put it in the hands of the elite few. Instead of being held under the constraints of the minority, the United States looked to be the groundbreaking country that instilled the primary source of political power into the hands of the people. This form of government has been upheld for upwards of 240 years, resulting in the world's largest superpower, the United States of America. While in theory, the power remains to be in the hands of the United States citizens, for the vast majority of the population, we have never felt so weak and helpless in the wake of a historically polarized society. We helplessly watch as we see certain events unfold that we have no discernible control over. We helplessly watch as we see our political power escape from our grasp, despite our country's trademark of supplying power to the people. We helplessly watch, and we try to make a sound. We try to make a difference, but we remain silenced and neglected. But we will no longer stand for this. We will no longer stand for the utter disregard of the overwhelming wants and desires of the American public. We will no longer stand for the limitation of democratic values that proves to be a huge detriment to this country. We will no longer stand for the depletion of power that we withstand as American citizens. The process of taking a stand at this robbery of our political capabilities begins with one thing. One vote. My vote. 58%. Only 58% of the eligible voter population attended their precincts to cast their vote for the presidential race in 2016. Only 58% of the voting population carried out their duties as American citizens. Only 58% of the voting population assisted in maintaining the groundwork of democratic ideals set in place by our founders. The other 42% likely felt as though the presidential race was predetermined, as if a winner was bound to win before a single vote was even cast. Maybe they felt as though their vote didn't matter within the myriad of American citizens casting their votes. While my vote might seem inconsequential in the grand scheme of the entire voting demographic, and I will concede it may not determine the results of an election, it does something so much more paramount to the integrity of our nation. My vote has the ability to uphold the democratic ideals and values that we have built our nation upon. My vote enables the democratic process to come to fruition, and subsequently allows our nation to thrive and prosper in a continuously difficult world to thrive and prosper in. My vote is what makes the difference between government ownership over the people from a government of the people, for the people, and by the people. Contrary to frequent misconceptions, the flow of power in America did not begin at the top and work its way down to the bottom. Power starts with me, power starts with you, power starts with every single voter in this country. And when only 58% of the nation's source of power makes an appearance at their precinct during Election Day, it will undoubtedly handicap the ideals that the nation prides itself upon. Despite this detriment, I know that as an American, I live in the most tremendous country in the world. Every morning I stand, and I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, reminding me that I cannot just simply take for granted the fact that I was born into the most prosperous country on earth. This reminds me that I have a task to carry out, a task that I have pledged my allegiance to, a task that will maintain the integrity of the nation and preserve our democratic ideals, a task that asserts the notion that this government of the people, for the people, and by the people shall not perish from the earth. This task requires one thing, one vote, my vote. Thank you.
So if you was a Voice of Democracy winner that did not receive cash, come see me after the ceremony. We have your envelopes, they just got a little confused there. Correction, I labeled them incorrectly, they weren't confused on Ladies and gentlemen, let's congratulate all today's winners. say a special thank you to the state leadership that came down today for this event, as well as Ryan Howe, the commander of the American Legion here in Ludlow, for all his help in helping to set up and organize and keep me straight with these awards. Christine Bassett as well for your assistance. But before you, I got it. I want to call, the first one I want to do is, got a couple of citations here, so I ask the state commander to come forward to present these, if you will, in the middle. Christine, will you go up there too? So some of these programs that we talked about today, there's a chairman, someone who organizes and receives them from different posts, organizes judging, and then submits to the state and make sure that the paperwork is submitted properly, because we have seen states, winners not submitted properly are disqualified. So when you're handling all these awards for the entire state, you always depend on that person to do great work. And this year, Christine Bassett, this past year, was the Department Citizen Education Activities Chairman, and she was in charge of the teacher awardees, as well as she was also the Youth Activities Chairman, making sure the youth programs were right, and another teacher award. So we want to present these awards to Christine today. And I think she did a good job, because we had 2 teachers last year win state, as well as the District 7 Voice of Democracy winner won for our district as well. So that was, she picked some good judges. The next citation the commander is going to present is to the Josh DeForge Post in recognition of their sincere appreciation and commitment to Veterans and Military Supports Program through Operation Uplink, Unmet Needs, Military Assistance Program, VFW Sports Clips, Help a Hero Scholarship, for support of the men and women serving active duty around the world and their families, as well as hospitalized veterans. And this is from the Commander-in-Chief, Keith E. Harmon, and Brian Duffy, Adjutant General. For every single man and woman who has donned the U.S. military uniform by virtue of their service and sacrifice, today is their day to stand tall and be recognized by a grateful nation. If you are a veteran and have served or wore the uniform, please stand now to be recognized. Today and every day, we must take the opportunity to keep alive the memory, the sacrifices, and the accomplishments of our nation's veterans. And we must embrace every occasion to educate future generations, the public, and our elected officials on the accomplishments, importance, and the needs of our nation veterans. Thank you today for attending our Veterans Day ceremony. Special thanks to Exit 7 Theater for hosting this event, Ludlow Community TV, and all their staff here today, the Ludlow High School Choir, the VFW Color Guard, the Boy Scouts and Cub Scouts. Thank you so much. A round of applause for all those who worked. At the end of our ceremony, if the awardees want to come up on stage to take pictures with their families, as well as the Santos family to come up and take one big family picture, we encourage that. At this time, I ask Reverend Pagano for the closing benediction. All right.
Let us pray. Our Father, in your word, you have said that no one has greater love than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. So many have shown their love and made the ultimate sacrifice for us. May we live our lives in deep appreciation. Let us leave this place with the resolve to live our lives in ways that will bring respect and honor to our veterans and to our nation. So now go in peace, and may the peace of God go with you. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our ceremony. Thank you again all for coming out and participating with us today.